Chapter 6. Knight in Shining Armor. As time went on, I really didn't have time to heal. I had to keep it moving. We still needed to eat and live, and with that devastating news, my dad only got worse and angrier. His drug problem was getting the best of him. On the flip side, my new job at the bank was going well. I was meeting a lot of new friends and I was making more money. A couple of months after that, my god sister Nicole and I moved out to an apartment that her aunt gave her when she left to move to Atlanta. It was on Locust Hill in Yonkers. It was my first really big responsibility while being on my own, and it felt good. I was like 15 minutes from my dad's house, so I was not too far. Whenever I got paid, I would get my little sister something, and they would come over and stay with me sometimes. By this time, my brothers and sisters had got close with their own people and created their own lives. Even though we were all in different places, we always were very close. As long as we had each other and always kept the lines of communication open, we were good. My brothers and sisters were my life. One day after work, one of my very good girlfriends, Lisa Mandry, who was always there for me and who used to work with me at the bank, and I went out to a lounge called Authors. It was a Friday, and my god sister told me that her son's father, Kassan, was the DJ there. So after working hard all day, we decided to check it out. We knew we were going to get in free, so why not? When we walked into the lounge, it was packed. I recognized a lot of familiar faces there. At this time, I was only 18. I didn't drink, so I grabbed a soda from the bar. Lisa and I were having a ball. My god sister met up with us, and we were just having a great time. The DJ was playing all the good songs, so my sister's baby father walked up to me and said, "My man wants to meet you." At the time, I was very popular in Yonkers. All my friends and I were hot. We all had our dressing game together with our cute hairstyles and big earrings. At that time, I was dating a guy from Yonkers, which was different for me because normally I would rather date a guy out of my borough. But he got locked up for some miscellaneous stuff and had to do a month in jail. I found out that some other girl was going to see him while I was at work, so I was over him. I had it going on and was way too young to deal with that. So when he said his man wanted to meet me, I said, "Who is he? Is he from Yonkers?" He said, "Yes." I was told, him. I was told, "Oh boy, who is he? What's his name and where is he?" He said, "Well, his name is DMX. He's very popular around Yonkers for rapping." I said, "Really? So if he really wants to meet me, tell him to come over here." Okay. DMX was on the other side of the room, but he never came over and I never thought anything of it. After being there an hour dancing, just enjoying ourselves, I got a tap on my shoulder. I turned around and there was a face I'd seen before. I immediately recognized who DMX was. It was Earl. Okay, so let's go back a little. A year before that, in the summertime, I used to play in a project called School Street, which was right up the hill from me. The only way you could hang in there was if you knew someone. Luckily for me, everyone down there knew my dad, and I had friends in there. It was a fun place to play. There was always a lot going on down there. One day, as I was walking up the block with my friend Ratanya, I saw the boy with the little black dog that took the pocketbook from the old lady coming out the building, and my heart just stopped. He looked a little older and his hair was shorter now, but that was him. His face had been imprinted on my mind, so I would recognize him anywhere. I said to my friend, "Who's that boy coming out the building with that dog?" She said, "Where?" "Oh, him? That's Earl." I said, "Earl. Well, that name doesn't really fit him." She asked, "Why? Do you like him?" In my head, I said, "Yeah." But out loud, I said, "Maybe. He seems interesting." She said quickly, "He's cool. I've known him forever, but he's not a guy for you." So I asked, "Why is that?" "Because he's a troublemaker." He's always in trouble, and he's in and out of group homes. You do not want to mess with a guy like that. For some reason, that excited me. So when I turned around at the club and saw it was Earl, I automatically said, Earl. He replied, Tashira. I was like, You know my name? He smiled. Yes, I always remembered you ever since you lived on Linden. I said, You remember me from Linden? He said, Yes. When I was 11, I saw you while I was taking a lady's purse, and from then on, I always dreamed about you, hoping that I would see you again. All of a sudden, my heart started beating so fast. I could not believe he just told me that. So I went on to tell him that I used to daydream about him and that he was going to save me from all the drama and craziness I was dealing with in my life. He said, Really? You used to daydream about me? You could tell he was in shock. I said, Why is that hard for you to believe? He answered, Well, I never thought a girl like you would be interested in a guy like me. Little did he know at the time, I was very interested in a guy like him. So after that, he asked me if I wanted to dance, which surprised me. I asked him if he knew how to dance, and he said no, but I want to dance with you. Right then, my song came on. Can't keep my hands to myself, an old school song that is timeless. We just started hugging and dancing like we knew each other forever. For some reason, even though I really didn't know Earl, I felt comfortable and secure with him. We just danced and talked till the club closed. My girlfriends were like, Okay, are you guys going to depart after this? So after that, he asked me if he could walk me home. I really didn't want him to because I didn't want anybody to know where I lived. I let him walk me home and we set up a date for the following night at 9 o'clock. When he came the next day, I really wasn't feeling it and I let him knock on the door while I watched him through the peephole. Even though I really was attracted to him, I was playing hard to get. I really wasn't sure what I wanted and he seemed very persistent. But as a young girl, that turned me off. After a couple of days of him constantly calling me, he finally got in touch with me. We went out and had a good time, and he came back to the apartment with me. We enjoyed great conversation while watching TV. I could tell he wanted to kiss me, so I just kissed him first, and things started getting very heated. He was feeling all on me, and the next thing you know, he's trying to go down inside my pants. I kept thinking, was he trying to have sex with me? And I can't let this happen. So I stopped him and said, I have to use the bathroom. Quickly, I went into the kitchen, got some ketchup, put some on a pad, and went back in there. We started kissing again, and he went down my pants, and bam, he felt the pad and said, You having your period? I said, Yes, I'm sorry. He looked a little disappointed. So we just lay there and fell asleep. I woke him up around 8 o'clock the next morning. I lied and told him I had to get ready for work, and he had to leave. I had never slept all night with a guy and just wanted him gone. I didn't want him to try to hang around. After that day, he would call me and beat me throughout the day, but I wouldn't answer his calls or his pages. I was so funny back then. I would like someone, but sometimes just didn't feel like being bothered. After a while, Earl got tired of calling me. After a couple weeks of not hearing from him, my girlfriends told me that they were going out to a party at a lounge called Brown Eyes and that I should go. They said they heard that DMX was performing there. I said, well, that will be a nice surprise if he sees me go support him after I totally ignored him for 2 weeks. Everybody in Yonkers was talking about going. It was a big thing happening that night. We all got cute that evening and walked over to Brown Eye around midnight. That's when stuff really started popping. We got there and it was jam packed. All my girlfriends were there and we were partying that night. I was looking around, but I didn't see Earl yet, so I wondered if he was even coming. Then all of a sudden, the DJ got on the mic and said, We got DMX in the house. Everybody started going crazy like he was a celebrity. Next thing you know, he came out singing this nice song I was feeling. I couldn't believe he could rap and put his words together like that. I was impressed. Then, after he was done with that song, he said, I'm about to sing this next song that's dedicated to someone in here called Once Upon a Time. It was about three girls that he ran past in his life, and the last one was me. The names all rhyme: Indira, Lavera, Tashira. The beat he threw it on was crazy. Everybody started loving it. It went like this. Once upon a time, I knew a girl named Tashira that was frontin', so she didn't know the person in the mirror. Like one night, if her period wasn't known, she would have fucked me. Then she spent the whole next week trying to duck me. All my friends in the whole lounge started looking in my direction. I was trying to disappear into the crowd, thinking to myself, I am going to kill this motherfucker when he gets off the stage. So I just tried to laugh off at my embarrassment, waiting for him to get off the stage. Once he got off that stage, he immediately hauled out the front door of the club and I went right behind him. He saw me coming, so he walked real fast around the car. I called him and said, Hey, Earl. He turned and said, Oh, it's you. What's up, Tashir? I said, Don't what's up me. He kept running around the car while I was trying to question him. How could you embarrass me like that and make a song about what happened? He said, What? No, that wasn't about you. The name just sounded a lot like yours. So I kept chasing him. Then he suddenly said sarcastically, but in a playful manner, So what if I was talking about you? You dissed me. Then I said, Because I was working hard and forgot to call you back, you make a song about me? Wow, that's just crazy for you to do that. He said, You wasn't working hard, you was straight ignoring me. If you didn't want to be bothered with me, why play games? Just tell me so. I felt a little bad because he had a point, so I said, You're right, I'm sorry. So he apologized and asked me what I was getting ready to do, and I said, I'm going home. Then he said, Why don't you let me make you breakfast? It's the least you can do after ducking me for the past couple weeks. I said, Breakfast? You know how to cook? Yes, I know how to make some real good French toast. So because I was hungry and it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I was so greedy, so I said yes. He said, I stay in New Rochelle with my manager. I rent part of his house. I said, okay. We went back into the club for another hour so that his friend could give us a ride back to his place.